Over 100 structural differences have been identified. In the past, much of this information was based on observations, but now with our powerful MRIs and CAT scans, we can actually take an inside look at our brains. For many years, the only brain research was done on men, so they didn't have anything to compare it to, but that is no longer the case. Quite a bit of new research has come from Dr. Luann Brizadine, author of the bestseller, The Female Brain. The research is in that we truly are built differently. Everyone starts out with a female brain up until about 8 weeks in utero. Then the male brain gets washed with a bath of testosterone, which shuts down a portion of their communication center. The neurons in these areas get pruned, and more cells grow in areas that govern spatial ability, sex, and aggression. Women have 11% more neurons than men in the brain centers for language, hearing, emotion, and memory. Their hippocampus, the principal hub for emotion and memory formation, is larger in females. For this reason, many researchers theorize that women have a tendency to remember an event with more impact and details. For example, if a woman had a disagreement with someone, they could probably tell you word for word what happened and describe the room the fight took place in as well. Michael Gurian, author of What Could He Be Thinking? How a Man's Mind Really Works, notes that when an experience comes into the brain for a man, as can be seen through MRI and PET scans, a man doesn't move as much material to the hippocampus. So the theory is men don't remember as much of what happened and the emotions in context. They remember the overall theme of the experience, but not the minute details. This is probably why Dr. Marianne Legato named her book, Why Men Never Remember and Women Never Forget. Women's brains have a thicker corpus callosum, the cable of nerves that channels communication between the brain's two hemispheres. And this might explain women's intuition, a kind of whole brain processing. The right hemisphere plays a dominant role in the male brain, and it is this side that men use to navigate the world, use abstract reasoning, and perform visual spatial tasks, which is the ability to visualize and manipulate objects and trajectories in time and three-dimensional space. The average man can perform mental rotation, that is, he can imagine how a complex object would look when turned around, better than up to 80% of women. His area of the brain that registers fear and triggers aggression will be larger. You can see that not only are we socially different, but biologically we are too. First, we'll take a look at some of the biggest differences between male and female communication, and then we'll look more specifically at how it plays out within a sales context. One of the biggest differences in the way men and women communicate is men use language to report and women use language to build rapport. Men talk to give information. Studies show that men use language to maintain independence, compete, and gain the upper hand in conversations, and therefore favor succinct, focused sentences. They talk about things, business, sports, and politics, rather than people. They convey facts, not details. Women, on the other hand, talk to build rapport, to get information and to connect or maintain intimacy. They generally talk about people rather than things. They convey feelings and details. They are relationship-oriented. Let's take a look at the rapport piece first. I always say, if you want the facts, ask a man. If you want the entire story, ask a woman. And ladies, you know this to be true. Whether you're attending a conference, lunching with a customer, or at a dinner party with friends, you usually walk away with more information, details, and insight about the individual you've been speaking with than the typical male. And if a woman should turn around and share